Hey, how's it going? This is Coach Alex from DCBA in the Braves Baseball Club. Here today, we're looking at one of my high school hitters. Been working for a couple months now, and we've seen some major improvements. Still a couple things to take care of before we get into season, but overall, getting pretty happy with this swing. First, we're going to address the bottom half, then we'll address the top half, kind of make a little game plan of what we're going to do going forward, and how we're going to get ready for tryouts in a couple weeks. First things first, looking at his stance. Feet are nice and far apart. He's a tall guy. He's taller than I am, and I'm 6'3". Long legs, long arms, long torso. Lots of advantages as a hitter there. Just got to make sure we're putting ourselves in the right position. Takes a little bit of precision. So going back to the stance, wide, nice. Looks very balanced. Looks very athletic. His knees fall inside of his ankles there, both of them. Very, very important for when we talk about weight transfer and how we move our hips faster. So excellent there. Going to the top half, nice tall chest. One of the things we worked on was getting him to start taller. He kind of started hunched over in the beginning with his back almost with a little round off to it. So now we've cleared that up, right? Nice and tall in the beginning. Front shoulder nice and relaxed. Left elbow sitting low. One of the things that you don't get from this angle is the space between the arm and the chest there. I do want him to bring his forearm a little bit closer to his chest. What it's going to end up doing is lifting this right elbow, or it's going to help lift the right elbow a little bit higher to there. Ultimately, we get most of our power from our hip rotation and that right elbow hinging down to our ribs. When that elbow starts so low, we don't get much through that hinge. Another bonus of making that adjustment is we're going to get a little bit better bat angle. Here, we're probably around like 35 degrees. I'd rather be in that 40 to 50 range, somewhere in there. A little bit higher bat angle. Again, it's also we can create good hinge down through the baseball and then really create some positive launch angle up and into our hit. So, going into the actual motion itself, what you're going to look for here when he begins his stride, I want you to watch the back knee. Okay? So, with a good weight transfer stride, with good linear momentum, if you're moving your foot forward and you're moving the middle of your body forward, which is how we're going to create that weight transfer, what you should see is that back knee travel along with the chest. What you're going to see is that back knee stays still. It even almost tilts behind him. So here we go. Lifting the foot. And see how that back knee doesn't really move. You can see how it almost rotates out towards the umpire. And if we look at his weight transfer from his center line, like middle of his chest, his nose, nothing really goes forward through the chest. In fact, we almost go backwards. It's not until after we've landed and we begin our hip rotation that we get a little bit of forward movement in the chest. But by then, it's too late. That's not really creating positive weight transfer that's going to help us out. That's just going to make our front shoulder fly out, which is one of the things that we've been battling as well. So, rewinding just a little bit, one of the things that we need to do this week and lesson is as we take the stride, we're really going to address that back knee. It has to be allowed to move forward as the foot moves forward and as our center line moves forward. Once we do that, then we know we're going to get a little bit better weight transfer over that front hip, which is ultimately going to lead to a lot better hip rotation through both hips and much better contact. All right. In the stride, top half, we encounter a couple more issues. Top half during the stride, this guy likes to shrink up a lot. So, as I said before, in the beginning, when he's just standing there waiting for the ball, we got him to stand up, which was great. Now we need to get him to stay tall during the stride. So here, one of the things we talk about a lot is eye level. So in the beginning of his stance, his eye level is right there, probably about 5'11", maybe 6 feet tall. But then as he goes into that stride, what you're going to see is that eye level drops drastically. So he's dropped probably close to a good 6 inches, maybe more, in his eye level. Now, reasons why that would not be so good. Okay? During our stride, the ball's probably going to be in the air. Right? So if I begin my stride and my eyes are up here at 6 feet tall, and when I land, the ball's about halfway between me and the pitcher, and all of a sudden my eyes are down here at 5'5", 5'6", that's a major drop. That ball is doing some things that it can't naturally do by itself. So we definitely got to remedy this. As we go forward into the video a little bit more, you're going to see that shoulder drop. The back knee doesn't move. And ultimately what that leads to is this left arm being barred out, that front shoulder flying away. And then if we had a little bit more three-quarter angle here, you'd really see the arc that he has in his backside there. Okay, so break that down just a little bit more specifically. So here, because the back knee is not allowed to move forward during the stride, we're not creating really good weight transfer through our middle line. Look at that back knee drop into the ground. So again, focuses on back knee. What should happen, what we want to see, is if that back knee moves during the stride, it should stay pretty straight during our hip rotation. But what you're going to see this guy's back knee do is start to drop. And here we go. So you're watching that back knee. It should be going forward. It doesn't go forward. And even right now, you can see, boom, now it's starting to drop, falling into the ground. Now, looking at this, isolating the lower half, you say, hey, that's still good. That's still good hip rotation. And you're 100% right. But we have to look at how the lower half rotation affects the top half. Okay, dropping that back knee is in turn dropping the back shoulder and the back elbow a little bit early. I know he's wearing a dark hoodie, but here's his elbow right there. That elbow is way too far inside of his middle there. Okay, we want that back elbow to be back here. Reason being, as we get into contact, and I'm going to highlight his arms there. Here to there is one arm, and there's the other. He's got nothing but thumbs behind that barrel making it go forward, so he's facing a harder pitcher, or he's maybe a little bit off on his timing. It's going to make it very difficult to make consistent hard contact. And in my opinion, and in my experience, that all comes from that initial knee drop instead of having that knee stay tall. Okay, and then looking a little bit further into the top half. Again, great hip rotation. If the knee doesn't drop, maybe the hips are a little bit more free to move. And instead of creating rotation predominantly through the shoulders, which we see here, back hips moving, but shoulders are moving quite a bit faster. Barrel's kind of dragging. Now we're kind of snapping our wrist through the ball. You can see that wrist snap rollover finish. Got to make sure our front side is doing less work. That left shoulder there, it's got to stay nice and relaxed. Our right hand, our top hand is our power hand here. This has to be the one really driving the baseball. We don't want to be pulling with this arm here. We want to keep this nice and bent. As soon as that left arm gets close to lockout, it's pulling that right elbow into an awkward position, into that kind of like midsection area right there, where again, it's not able to support the bat very well at all. Wrist snap roll over because of the locked elbows early. Big finish falling backwards. Alright, so just kind of a recap. With this guy here, our major focus this week is going to be on getting that back knee to move forward during his weight transfer and keeping that chest taller. If we can knock out those two issues or begin to knock them out, I bet we're going to see that chest stay taller. I bet we're going to see the elbows move better. And I bet he's going to have a lot more fun hitting the ball way more consistently. So, quick little recap on a good high school hitter. My name is Alex. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to hit me up. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.